Africa is in a difficult place, not because of its people, but because of the systems. And there's certainly a lot of history there and a lot of arguments of where those systems came from and who's responsible, but that's in the past. What matters is, where are the systems going to go? My company is not in the business of selling products. We have them, like Prism. It's a great product, and the negotiations in Ethiopia took years to get it there, and they were the toughest negotiations I've ever done in my career, and kudos to John O'Connor for getting it done. I can't tell you how many calls at 3 o'clock in the morning he had to take, and how difficult that was. I'm currently negotiating with a Fortune 500 company. It's a very complex multi-party deal, and those are like Bush League compared to what we're doing here. So kudos to getting that done, but that's just a product, and it's a great product, and getting identity to people connected to Cardano is going to change the lives of millions of people. But more broadly and more abstractly, we're in the business of systems. So what we sell is a different way of human beings working with each other, communicating with each other, trading with each other, understanding each other, and ultimately giving each other consent for the allocation of power and resources. So when you look and say, if the problem is systems and all we have to do is change them to fix it, well, then those who are in the systems business, that's where they go. My own country desperately needs new systems. Unfortunately, I'm cynical. As much as I like to believe that if people can run for office or vote for a particular politician or lobby or do things, the things I've witnessed in the 13 years that I've been dealing with politics at the national level, from what happened to Ron Paul to the cynicism of the Obama administration to the Trump administration to what's going on now, has told me that my government is not in the business of taking care of me or any normal person. All they care about are a small cohort of special interests, and as long as they're okay, America's okay. Never mind us that for the first time in my adult life, our rate of poverty has gone up consistently over a 4-year period. We are starting to actually see literacy rates go down. We're starting to see the weakness of the US dollar reflected in the price of commodities and rent and the basic necessities of life. In Colorado, when I first attended university, about $800 for a good apartment. Now, that same apartment costs about $2,000. Yet I'm told by my government that there's 3% inflation, 2% inflation. This is a tax upon the poor. It doesn't affect me, never will affect me. The things that I worry about these days never will impact me. If I wanted to, I could just retire and live a life of luxury and not care about these things. But as I said, I'm young. And so that gives me the luxury of being able to spend my time however I so choose, wherever I so choose, with a lot of passion, fire, rigor, and zeal. And nothing would make me happier to see my youth spent changing the systems around me. But I don't believe I can do so through the ballot box or political evangelism. I only believe I can do so through economic competition. No newspaper in the world said, boy, this internet's great. We're so excited to completely throw away our business model, change to something new and uncertain. They were forced to. And those who didn't acknowledge it went out of business, and those that did are still around. Similarly, no nation state in the world says, boy, we just wanted to dramatically change the way people are elected, dramatically change the way that the economic order works and our laws work, unless they're forced to, either through the ballot box or revolution, but much more common in the 21st century, through economic means. Simply, the country goes bankrupt. It wasn't a great war at the end of the day that ended the Soviet Union. The United States and the Western powers spent 8 decades, one way or another, trying to end that great evil. And it ended because of economic means. Misconduct and incompetence at the highest level. They simply couldn't afford to run their empire or pay the people who did so. So they had to throw in the towel, give up. And similarly, it won't be the barrel of a gun or a vote in the ballot box that changes America and makes it a more honest, more transparent, and frankly, more sustainable and caring and empathetic nation. It will be something on the economic order that changes things, either because we have a collapse and we have to recover from it, or because there's simply a better way of doing something that if we don't adopt, we will have a collapse. It is my belief that if we change Africa, we're going to change the world. And we change it by putting in systems where the people are in control from the bottom up, where they have so much more say over their identity, their expression, their life, their reputation, their identity, their payment systems, these things. And I think that we have a good shot to get there, because now we're doing deals with millions of people. Tomorrow we'll be doing deals in the coming years with tens of millions of people. And then eventually it's hundreds, and then eventually it's everyone. What we have here today isn't just simply a DID. It's a gateway, not just into Cardano, but the entire industry. One day, these credentials will be transformed to represent the financial history, the reputation, the payment system, voter registration. The sky's the limit. The technology is built this way. Even if it takes a few years, it is inevitable, because it's there now. It's in their hands. And that to me gives me hope, because anyone who's in these new systems, if they're truly just and moral and reasonable, they'll get so much more traction, participation. They'll get so much more love, for lack of a better term, from the people. And as a consequence, the people will grow richer, more powerful. They'll have self-determination. They'll have far more freedom. And anywhere freedom lives and self-determination lives and liberty lives, the human spirit rises to the occasion. Innovation and creativity rises, and the young will capture their destiny. They'll build wealth or create new forms of it that we've never even imagined before. And as a consequence, over the next 50 to 100 years, with new systems, it is my belief that the African continent will become one of the wealthiest in mankind, and the days of Mansa Musa will return. And then my own country will look to that, and they'll have to make a decision. Do we want to enter a dark age of collapse and poverty, or do we want to change and adopt the African way? And things will get better. And throughout the coming 24 to 36 months, we're going to be scaling up very rapidly throughout the whole continent. This means many new classes. This means new initiatives, new relationships, and also developing out talent. For example, the Ghanaian class that we're teaching, I would absolutely adore and love for the developers of that class to become core developers of a cryptocurrency. And the one in particular that would be so much fun would be Bitcoin, because it feels like unfinished business for a team to build a Bitcoin full node there. So we'll see if that's possible, and we'll see how far we get. And it might take a few years to contribute there, but just brings interoperability of Bitcoin tech to the Cardano space. Makes a lot of sense to me.